Welcome to the Patriot Angle Podcast, a show about America's truth, unhinged, unfiltered, raw. Your host, Mike Gardner.
Something that I would note is just we talked a lot about transfer of power and the election, and it's worth remembering that this president was never given an orderly transition of power. His presidency was never accepted. In fact, before his election, we know Crossfire Hurricane was launched by Peter Strzok to pursue baseless allegations about the president's ties with Russia. That's before he was president, trying to subvert the will of the American people. We know in August, Peter Strzok wrote a text message about an insurance policy against a Trump presidency, once again trying to silence the voice of the American people. In 2016, we know in October that there was a FISA warrant taken out to spy on the Trump campaign. Then the American people spoke, and they spoke commandingly in electing President Trump despite all of the odds. And what happened after he was elected? You had 70 lawmakers say we're not coming to his inauguration, Democratic lawmakers. You had Elizabeth Warren saying we're going to attempt to obstruct the Trump transition by urging the Government Accountability Office to investigate the incoming Trump transition. In January of that year, you had President Obama have a by-the-book meeting where they talked about the Logan Act, using that act to go after Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Just before the inauguration, you had BuzzFeed promoting and publishing this bogus Steele dossier that's been widely debunked. And then for 2 years, you had the basis Mueller investigation, which searched for collusion, found none, and exonerated President Trump. While in 2016, President became the duly elected president, many sought to undermine him, discredit him, delegitimize him, and deny his victory. There were no calls for unity. There were no calls for healing. So while every legal vote is counted, let us not forget the inexcusable transition, or lack thereof, that President Trump had to endure in 2016 and 4 years into his presidency. Thank you, everyone, for the very good and substantive questions today.
I couldn't agree more. You just heard Press Secretary Kayleigh speaking. And you know what's funny is, every single time they ask a question, and this is where I find it very humorous. They ask these questions, right, at all these briefings, all these White House briefings. They ask the questions, and guess what? This administration just fires back. And it's funny, too, because once they're being exposed, the real truth, instead of the fabricating truth of the media, right? Because that's what they do. They fabricate it. They fabricate it, and then they lie, and then they try to edit it, but they can't edit too much, because once you edit it, it'll sound ridiculously funny. But, they're asking questions about just the timeline, just different questions, Kayleigh goes into answering the biased media's questions, and then when she gives a response, they go completely silent. There's the weapon, folks. If you want to silence this biased media, this negative media, just tell them the truth. See, the media, the far left, they can't handle the truth, because when they hear the truth, they shut their mouths. They become silent, and that's the greatest weapon of all, right? That's how you take down the media in this country. As she's talking about, how this president, if you can hear the sound clip, she's talking about the president, how the president's, ever since he's taken office in 2016, he's been attacked after attack after attack after attack. She goes into, the response of the coronavirus a little bit. You can hear a little bit of it. She doesn't go too much into it. See, if they go too much into the coronavirus, that's a win for the media. Because then when she responds to that, or any part of this administration responds to the coronavirus, the media they get more into it. They pretty much they pin them to a corner, But it is what it is. It is what it is. Welcome to the show today. Got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about. I want to close off the whole Kaylee thing here. She does deliver a lot of resource to the American people. But I want to get off that, and I want to get onto another segment here. I want to get into the whole Rudy thing. Did anybody hear the Rudy Giuliani thing? I was going to put it on the show yesterday, but we were running out of time and everything. But I want to plug in the Rudy thing. The whole Rudy press briefing yesterday. Oh boy, did they expose a lot. They exposed. Did you see Rudy? Oh boy, he had. Oh my God, he was sweating like a hog on a summer day. I mean, you could clearly see they were nervous. Well, rightfully so. I mean, they're telling the American people, what's being. They're exposing everything right there and then. They're exposing it right to the American people, so they're nervous as hell. I wanna show that, and then I also want to get into the latest Trump saga of what Trump is exposed. Oh boy, guys, they are taking down this Washington swamp. They're taking down the swamp like literally quick. And I'm telling you what, it's about time that an outsider like Donald Trump is taking on the big establishment. With that being said, folks, welcome to today's show. I got a lot to talk about on the Patriot angle. Hey guys, back to the show. Did anybody hear? Oh boy, this is a bombshell right here. This is definitely a big bombshell. This is what's been going on for a couple weeks now. Everybody understands with the story here of Pfizer, trying to come out with this vaccine, but then we're hearing different sources of people saying that they're accusing Trump of lying and this and that and everything else. But this is this is the story here that Trump accuses Pfizer of delaying the vaccine announcement until after the election. The sources were just saying that excuse me, that Trump was going to delay the vaccine until after the election, depending on the outcome of the election. Oh yeah. This is the fake news media outlets telling everybody that Trump was going to delay it until after the election to see what was going to happen after the election. Like, what the hell's the difference? We've heard for weeks that Trump was going to announce as soon as he can the announcement of the vaccine. That big companies such as Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, mainly Pfizer, had a big stronghold on the vaccine, But now, oh boy, now all of a sudden you see the Biden administration, Harris and Biden, they're trying to take credit for it. They're trying to take credit for this vaccine that was designed, under the Trump administration. This is what the left does, folks. This is what the Democrats do. They always take credit for the other opposing party's accomplishments. But here, I want to play into the soundbite here of basically, of Trump accusing. This is Trump, okay? I want to play this here, okay? Because this is an important here. I want my listeners to understand the truth here. This is the truth of it. This is something you won't hear on other outlets, okay? Because this is a bombshell here, okay? Where they're getting two sides of the story. Oh, you got to listen to this. This is big, folks. This is very, very big stuff here. You like I said, you probably won't hear it on other outlets here.
And millions of dollars of negative advertisements against me during the campaign, which I won, by the way, but, we'll find that out. Almost 74 million votes. We had Big Pharma against us. We had the media against us. We had big tech against us. We had a lot of dishonesty against us. Pfizer and others were way ahead on vaccines. You wouldn't have a vaccine if it weren't for me for another 4 years, because FDA would have never been able to do what they did, what I forced them to do. And Pfizer and others even decided to not assess the results of their vaccine. In other words, not come out with a vaccine until just after the election. That's because of what I did with favored nations and these other elements, instead of their original plan to assess the data in October. So they were going to come out in October, but they decided to delay it because of what I'm doing, which is fine with me because, frankly, this is just a very big thing. A very big thing. What I'm doing here, I don't know if anyone's going to appreciate it. So they waited and waited and waited, and they thought they'd come out with it a few days after the election. And it would have probably had an impact. Who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have. I'm sure they would have found the ballot someplace, the Democrats and the group.
So that was Trump accusing Pfizer, which he should be. Okay, did anybody hear that story? Okay, basically I'll explain it to you. Pfizer, okay, which was a big company of this vaccine, okay, basically the main company of this vaccine. Pfizer was going to delay the release of this vaccine until after the election, the results of the election. Why would they do that, folks? Why would a major vaccine company such as Pfizer delay the release of it until after the election? Is there some kind of coincidence, so to speak, here in this story? I think there is, guys. All right. They wanted to delay the vaccine, okay, because of what Trump has been doing to Big Pharma. Okay, Trump's been laying all these tariffs on Big Pharma, which he should, okay, because Big Pharma's been basically ripping off the American public and the American people for quite some time now. Quite some time. I mean, they've been attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking. They wanted to basically delay this thing until Biden was elected in. So then when Biden got elected in, okay, because this was part of the whole plan, folks. Big Pharma, big tech. I've been saying this for weeks upon weeks. Big Pharma and big tech, okay, had a very, very big influence in this election, okay, because of what Trump's been doing. Trump's been basically taking on big pharma and big tech, mainly big pharma, okay, because of the tax regulations and everything else. They wanted to basically delay the release of the vaccine. They wanted to delay the release of the vaccine because once Biden was elected in, once Harris and Biden was elected in, then Biden and Harris would take credit for the vaccine, and they would say, we take credit for the vaccine. Pfizer was waiting for the correct time and date for us to basically announce, and that's what the whole plan was, folks. They were going to wait. Okay, and that's what Trump is accusing in the sound bit. I just basically plugged in. Trump was accusing Pfizer, okay, of delaying the vaccine until after the election. So, like I said, so the next administration voted in would take credit for it, okay, because Pfizer didn't want Trump to acknowledge what he had done. Okay, he put a whole bunch of big regulations on that company. Okay, trust me, there was a lot of negotiation too. Okay, because you don't have a regular president in office. You don't have this. He's not a politician for one. We all know that. This is probably the first time in, I'd say, American history, right? I don't think we have any. We never had a president that was a person like Trump. I had to look at the history books here, but I think Trump is the first person in American history that's acting more as an outsider, independent businessman as a president than a politician, because we all know he's not a politician. He doesn't talk like a politician. He doesn't read off of a script like a politician. You know, he doesn't bow down to the feet like a politician. Doesn't answer that. Joe does all that. Joe has to ask his handlers where he's at the next day because he doesn't know where he's at half the time. You know, he's got to ask his handlers where is he going to be. You know, where am I going to be on tomorrow? Where am I going to be tomorrow? Am I eating cold cuts or am I eating chicken? That's how sick he is. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but it's true. I mean, sadly, when all these recounts and everything else goes abound and we see all this stuff, are we going to see the first dementia candidate for president in American history? I think we are. Because, first of all, my own personal opinion, he's too old. I mean, he's 78 years old. You know, I mean, hopefully we can give him a 4-year plan. You know, you ever see that movie? Was it Adam Sandler? You know, when his girlfriend is cheating on him or something like that, and then Adam Sandler meets the guy in her apartment in the city, and he says, "This is Herb," and he says, "Hey, how you doing, Herb?" And she says, "He's goal oriented. He's got all his goals in mind. He has a 5-year plan." And then what does Adam Sandler say? Don't die? I mean, seriously. I mean, Joe is too old to become president. Way too old. We're going to see. What's going to happen is, here's my opinion on the election, okay? They should do a recount because you got a lot of margins. And I did say this, and I mentioned this back in, about a week and a half ago on my episode, you know, what's going on with the election system, right? Did anybody see that episode? It's a good episode. Go back to it, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. So what's going to happen is if Biden gets in, okay, which I hope he doesn't get in, if he gets in, you're going to see a lot of corruption, okay? You're going to see more corruption when it happens than you are seeing now, okay? Because what's going to happen is when Biden gets in, Harris is going to become president, okay? And then Ice Cream Pelosi will be the vice president because she's third in line. And she'll be happy, too, because then she'll have ice cream all over the White House. She'll ask all her handlers to get all her favorite gelatos. And then she can go to Chinatown and then she can go celebrate with the Chinese people and say that the China virus, I'll say it, it's a China virus. I don't say coronavirus. I'm not politically incorrect. I say what I say, you know. And she'll be happy. They'll be happy. They'll be dancing the margarita in the White House. It'll be a good thing. It'll be a real good thing. And then Joe will be in the old man home. Yeah, they'll invoke the 25th Amendment on Joe, and then that's what's going to happen. It's sad, but that's what's going to happen. And then the bartender from Queens, she's going to be happy. She could be making her shots in the House of Representatives. Yeah, all the Democrat House members, they'll be asking AOC for some shots. This is the country we live in. You know, it's the country we live in. But you know, and then I want to play this one soundbite here of this. Who's this black lady here accusing Trump? I think it was a black lady. I forgot. I got to look at the soundbite. This black lady accusing Trump of then not delivering the actual truth of the whole Pfizer thing. Oh, you got to listen to this. Hold on, I got to find it here. Oh shit! Hey guys, welcome back. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor Podcasting. Anchor, what a great app! I'm telling you right now, folks. If you're looking for a podcast to start out, choose Anchor. I'm telling you what, Anchor is out there, guys. It really is. It really is. I love Anchor, and it's great. It really is. It's a good app.
It's tough to know where to start. That's why Anchor gives podcasters the tools they need to make each episode better than the last. Now, Anchor Analytics includes new stats from Spotify to help you better understand who's listening and what they like about your show. With charts that let you see how far people are making it into each episode and where they're dropping off, you can plan your podcast around the content that performs best. Hover over to see how many people are tuning into specific segments and learn what hooks your audience by comparing the average listening time across multiple episodes. Using anonymized demographic data from Spotify, take a granular look at the age and gender of your listeners to start tailoring your content or targeting new audiences. Track analytics from multiple platforms and Spotify insights. Everything you need to grow your podcast, all in one place with Anchor.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to the show. I had to take a little break. You know, you got to take breaks on this show or you're going to get crazy. But I want to talk about that Pfizer story here. Pfizer, it's blowing up the internet like crazy. It's coming out of Yahoo News. There was a source of reporters here claiming Trump made some misrepresentation here. Excuse me. Ugh. Let me redo that again. Trump made some he misrepresented the actual story here. I want to read you this here, okay? Because this is part of Trump's Operation Warp Speed, okay, with Pfizer and the whole coronavirus vaccine. All right, this is this is what was said here. Okay, this is coming November 13th here. November 13th, President Donald Trump said on Friday, the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer misrepresented a deal it struck with the U.S. government over the vaccine to combat the coronavirus pandemic. Folks, that was November 13th. Okay? I'm not going to do the whole video transcript because it's just a long video, and I really don't want to waste my show's time with it because, it's just nonsense stuff. But basically, this is what the transcript read. Donald Trump, thank you very much. And we're very proud of it and had tremendous help from. Okay? As a result of the Operation Warp Speed, Pfizer announced on Monday that its China virus vaccine is more than 90% effective. This far exceeds any and all expectations. Nobody thought they had got to that level. And we have others coming in which we think will be at equal level, maybe more, if that's possible. The country that has requested or needed a ventilator that hasn't. In July, Trump said his administration reached an agreement with Pfizer to provide a $1.95 billion to support the mass manufacturing, distribution of 100 million doses with the option to purchase a total of 600 million doses shortly after, to issue emergency use authorizations for a number of additional treatments. Our investments will make it possible for the vaccine to be provided by Pfizer free of charge. Pfizer said it wasn't part of the warp speed, but that turned out to be unfortunate misrepresentation that they are part. That's why we gave them the $1.95 billion investment, and it was unfortunate mistake that they made when they said that. It's people immediately, and I know many. I know the people. That was coming out of Yahoo News, folks. Okay, that was just last week? Yeah, last Friday. Pfizer now accusing Trump of misreading the entire deal. Pfizer, like others, is part of the vaccine. Trump was basically saying, once it reaches to a certain point, he's going to announce when it will be released to the American public. And then you had this Nimrod reporter, I forgot her name, basically saying that, she's calling Trump out a liar. She's saying, oh, Trump didn't make the deal with Pfizer, and it's basically this and that. Folks, this is what's going to happen. Okay, this is what's going to happen. Trump is going to lose the damn deal. I know he's going to lose the deal because that's what the far left is going to do. They're going to take that deal and they're going to take credit for the entire 6-7 months of Trump basically negotiating with Pfizer for this vaccine. When the hell we'll see this vaccine? It's on me. We might see it in a year. It might see. Trump even said, it's in rapid speed. I mean, it's what, 90% complete, about 97% complete. But what happens, it is on me. But I want to play this other soundbite here of dictator Cuomo. The Cuomo there in New York, basically slamming the entire vaccine. Oh, you got to listen to Cuomo. Cuomo's slamming Donald Trump about the vaccine, saying, "Oh, Trump is this, Trump is this is." I guess we're living in a banana republic, folks. We're living in a banana republic here of a country. Oh, you got to listen to this. This is soundbite number 6, please.
Trump administration's proposed plan is such an affront. I tell you today, if the Trump administration does not change this plan and does not provide an equitable vaccine process, we will enforce our legal rights. We will bring legal action to protect New Yorkers. President Trump must learn the lesson. Stop the abuse. Stop the division. Stop the anger. Stop the hatred. Stop the narcissism. And spend your last months actually trying to help people and repairing the damage you have done. Who gets the vaccine and who doesn't get the vaccine is not just a question of morality and principle. It's a legal question. I've tried to work with the Trump administration and argue morality and principle for 4 years. You're better off trying to argue with a rock. But it's not just about morality. I hope the Trump administration opens their eyes, but I'm dubious. I'm not going to allow New Yorkers to be bullied or to be abused. I'm not going to allow the injustice to continue.
Stop it right there. Folks, I wanted to play that soundbite there. That is Cuomo, okay, of New York, making a threat against the Trump administration. Yeah, that was yesterday. That was Cuomo yesterday, threatening the Trump administration of this vaccine. Yeah, Cuomo was saying that making threats of legal action. Yeah, legal action if Trump withholds the vaccine. Folks, he's not withholding the vaccine. It's called negotiation, Cuomo. Do we have to go back to school of law and understand how that works? Just because that your district there in New York and your whole entire state is going to hell doesn't necessarily mean you have to act this way. I mean, seriously, how the hell is he withholding a damn vaccine? He's not withholding it. It's called negotiation, folks. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is that how America works now? You say something, if you want something, it gets delivered right away. No, you have to go to the boardroom, has to sit down with executives. You have to negotiate things, right? If you don't like what's on the table and you don't like a deal, that's the basic principles of negotiations, right? Trump's not going to say, hey, you know what? There's certain stuff in that vaccine I don't like for the American people. Is a good deal or a bad deal. He's not withholding a damn vaccine. This is sick. This is what you hear in America here. This is what you hear. I've been working with the Trump administrations for years, and they won't listen to me. It's like dealing with modern day Iraq. You could deal with them better than you can deal with this administration. Folks, you know what these people are doing. You know the syndromes that they suffer from. It's called the Trump derangement syndrome. That's what they're suffering from. That's what they're saying. And still, did you hear Cuomo in that soundbite? Spend your remaining months trying to help the American people instead of attacking them and bullying them. I'm not going to let my fellow New Yorkers be bullied by a president. Where did he show bullying in that last video I showed you? I mean, I plugged in here. He wasn't showing bullying. He's trying to explain. But see, they rewrite his message. They rewrite everything. And then like they edit it out as they're speaking. See, they mix his words up. Legal action. Trump's making sure that he's delivering right. I'm telling you, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. See, that's why they get... Here's the catch, guys. This is why they're getting pissed off with this president. They've been getting pissed off with him for the last, 4 years almost now? They get pissed off and they get angry with him and they show bitterness and hatred because they want him to act like a politician. They want him acting like every president before him. They want him acting like Obama. They want him acting like George Bush. They want him acting like Clinton. He's not a Clinton. He's not a Bush, and he's not an Obama. He's different. He's an outsider. He's a businessman. That's what you need in office. You need a businessman that can run not only a business, but frankly, can run the country. And frankly, the government is a business. It acts like a business, so it should be ran as a business, right? But they want him to they want him to talk like a puppet. I guess they want him to talk like Biden, because if Biden says something, oh boy, if he says something, they're gonna look at him and they're gonna say, no, that's not what you said. You're not supposed to say that. Trump doesn't say that. He doesn't read off of a script. He doesn't read off of a teleprompter. Well, he reads off the teleprompter. It's his own footnotes, but you know what I mean. He's not a scripted president, and he'll never be a scripted president. But let's get off the whole Pfizer thing. Let's move over towards the next thing. I want to move over towards the voting. All right, the election voting. We kind of took a break from the election. I think everybody needs to take a break from this crazy saga of election. I want to plug in here of Rudy. Oh boy, did you hear Rudy? I was telling you about Rudy earlier in the show today. Rudy was just, he was a little overwhelmed. You could see Rudy sweating like a hog on a summer day, And I never knew Rudy Giuliani dyed his hair. The dye was coming down the side of his head. I thought it was. I'm looking at it. You gotta look at the video. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but Rudy, he was a mess. But he was delivering it. He was delivering the allegations and the lawsuits very, very professional. But oh boy, you should have seen Rudy. He was sweating. Oh boy, was he sweating. He was sweating like a hog on a summer day. The sweat, the damn hair dye was coming down his face. They had to give poor Rudy a bottle of water afterwards. I thought Rudy was going to pass out. God. But you got to see this. Oh boy. Where is it at here? Place was it soundbite number 14, please. Here we go. Rudy is delivering it like it's like crazy here.
Giuliani, and there's another episode of Rudy's Common Sense.
Good
afternoon, and thank you very much for coming. This is representative of our legal team. We're representing President Trump, and we're representing the Trump campaign. When I finish, Sidney Powell and then Jenna Ellis will follow me, and we will present in brief the evidence that we've collected over the last, I guess it is 2 weeks. Also, Joseph DeGenever, Victoria Tenzing are here with me. There are a lot more lawyers working on this, but we're the senior lawyers, and Boris Epstein. So, I guess the best way to describe this is when we began our representation of the president, we certainly were confronted with a very anomalous set of results. The president way ahead on election night, 700,000 or 800,000 in Pennsylvania. Somehow he lost Pennsylvania. We have statisticians willing to testify that that's almost statistically impossible to have happened in the period of time that it happened. But of course, that's just speculation. As we started investigating, both our investigations and the very patriotic and brave American citizens that have come forward are extraordinary. Extraordinary number of people, extraordinary number of witnesses. And what emerged very quickly is there's not a singular voter fraud in one state. This pattern repeats itself in a number of states. Almost exactly the same pattern, which to any experienced investigator, prosecutor, would suggest that there was a plan from a centralized place to execute these various acts of voter fraud, specifically focused on big cities, and specifically focused on, as you would imagine, big cities controlled by Democrats, and particularly focused on big cities that have a long history of corruption.
I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna fast forward to some of this sound clip here. This is breaking, guys. This is breaking. They're doing everything in their power, folks. These Democrats to try to acknowledge that hey, your boy Trump lost and Biden won. Well, he didn't win. It's not over, guys. It's not over. The word president-elect, guys, that's a fabricated word by the media. There's no such thing as president-elect. The only time the president becomes certified as the president is in January when he's sworn in by Congress and the Supreme Court, okay, and the rest of the elected officials in Washington. The word president-elect was drawn up as a fabricated word, what was it, back in the 80s, okay, and they've been using that ever since. The president is not the president in November. It has to go through a series, sometimes of recounts, recalls. Congress has to look at the entire process, okay, before the new president gets sworn in. Whether it's Trump being reelected in January or if it's Biden being sworn in, okay? But there's no president that is certified until January. So guess what, liberals? Your president is Trump until January, whether you like it or not. You know, you can go on parade, you can go down marching down Fifth Avenue, New York City, and you could say, oh, my president is Biden. No, he's not your president, folks, until January. Until all the counts, all the litigations, the accusations, all the all the court stuff gets tallied in through the Supreme Court, because we're an investigation, and we should be, because there was massive fraud being involved, and you're going to see the fraud too. I mean, this team here of lawyers under Giuliani, and then there's others too, is basically exposing this, okay? And it should be exposed, because there was a lot of fraud, mainly in those computer systems, such as Dominion. And if anybody knows what Dominion is, look it up. It's a Cuban system. It was brought over here probably about 15, 20 years ago, and they've been using the Dominion system since the early 90s. Oh boy, you'd be surprised that some of these votes are getting counted in from overseas, mainly in communist areas such as Cuba and Venezuela. They used this system in Venezuela in the late 70s. They used it in Cuba when they had the Castro regime. Some scary, sick times, and we're now seeing it in America. Like I said, I never thought in my wildest dreams. You can actually watch it. There's a whole YouTube clip, guys. You go right on YouTube and you can watch the truth here about this election, on how they were created. and how the system, like I said, this is very, very fancy dancy technology, guys, that basically will take any vote, whether it's for instance, we'll use this election, whether it's for Trump or Biden, and they switch it's crazy. They take the ballots and they put them in the machines, and they basically switch it to the opposition, the other candidate. And oh boy, it's some crazy stuff. I'm telling you, we live in some dark, dark times. But I'm going to fast forward here to the sound clip, and you're just going to hear Rudy just spitting massive fraud. I mean, if you can't see the fraud here, guys, you're blind. You're blinded than the next guy. But you got to listen to this.
But if you lived in what would be considered more Republican or Trump parts of the state, you were given no such right. One of our plaintiffs, Mr. Henry, cast a absentee ballot, and he failed to put it in the secure envelope inside. He just put it in open, naked. That ballot was cast aside because it was invalid, because that breaks the privacy of the vote. In Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia, if they noticed that there wasn't an inner envelope, they'd contact the voter and allow him to vote again. Or if he didn't fill it out completely, or if he made a mistake and didn't sign his full name, he was allowed to cure it. There is no such provision under the law of Pennsylvania. The Democrat Secretary of State made that up in order to maximize the votes in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and to minimize the votes in the other parts of the state. Clearly illegal, clearly voter fraud, easily provable, hundreds of witnesses, maybe thousands.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop it right here. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back on this here. You got to hear this. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is fraud. This is fraud being exposed to you, being exposed to the American people. Oh, boy, I think the Democrats are coming out of their turtle shells right now, and they're kind of scratching their heads, and they're like, oh, boy, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Guess what, folks? I've been saying it for weeks. Somebody's going to jail. We'll be right back. Hey, guys, welcome back to the show. Today's show is sponsored by another sponsor. I got to get these sponsors out of here. I got to get them on here. We're sponsored by Oodle. Anybody heard of Oodle? Oodle's a good site. You're looking for a good job, or basically, if you're trying to post something, try to sell it, try to get rid of it. You don't want to be messing around with Craigslist or anything. You want something safe, you want something reliable. Head over to Oodle. Friends at Oodle, basically, they're there for you. They got your back, Oodle. Oodle.com. You post everything from job postings to apartment listings. Oodle. I love Oodle. I use Oodle all the time. Oodle, right? But here, we got to get more into this investigation here of the election. Trump's legal team yesterday held a press conference about the election, and guys, this administration's not backing down, and they're really hitting Trump with the concession speech. They want Trump to concede. They want him to concede. They want him to admit his loss. Guess what, folks? This election's not over. It's not over by a long shot. Okay, like I said, the new president doesn't get elected in until January, I believe it was January 15th. Yeah, January 15th. So basically, America, you're stuck with Trump until these litigations, these court hearings are over and done with. But, everybody knows. I think everybody has an understanding what's going to happen. This legal team of Trump, they're just every day, man. You're just seeing the corruption, you're seeing the fraud, you're seeing it all play out before your eyes. I mean, the evidence is there. The evidence is there. But you know what? Try explaining yourself to this to a liberal. Try explaining this to yourself to a mainstream media anchor. You know what they're going to look at you? They're going to look at you and say, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? It's being exposed to us right before our eyes. I mean, you know, this legal team, and I got to say, this is a good legal team. You got Giuliani, you got others. I mean, senior lawyers on this legal team. I mean, folks, Trump is in good hands with this election. He's in good hands even with the illegal team that's representing him. He's got some good strong suits on these lawsuits. And like I said, there are several lawsuits in a lot of key states. I mean, we're looking at Georgia. I mean, just the other day, you read the Drudge Report. Anybody go on the Drudge Report? The Drudge Report, I'm going to talk about that right after I plug in this last soundbite. Oh boy, you got to see what the Drudge Report is exposing. Like I said, a lot of exposure, folks. This election's not over. This is not over. And the Democrats, they can hoo-ha and they can jump up and down and do jumping jacks all they want, but you know, they haven't won. They haven't won in a landslide. You know, but you know what, guys? Let them do that. You know, let them have fun. Let them pop the champagne bottles. Let them think they won this election, because they didn't win. They didn't win. And all the fake ballots will show it. They'll all show it. This will come out in court. And
Thank you, Rudy.
Here, let's listen in.
When you get our best price guarantee on your contacts, you could do better stuff online than searching for deals, like battling shadow zombies. 1-800-CONTACTS, making life easier for contact wearers everywhere. Just call, click, or tap.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Soundbite number 5, please.
Dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States. The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out. We have one very strong witness who has...
Boom! There it was. There's the exposure. Did you just hear it? Did you just hear it? They used the same system, guys, in this election that they used in Venezuela with Hugo Chavez, right? They used the same machines to make sure that he was elected in, that he never lost an election. Is this the same scenario being played out for the Biden and Trump election? Oh, I think it is. And I think Harris and Biden over there at the DNC, the Democrat National Committee, they're scratching their heads. They're like, whoa. Take that off. Take that off YouTube. We can't have that. We can't have that on major platforms such as YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Oh, you're going to see this. This was what? This was 2 days ago? This legal team just exposed all the truth. They exposed all the truth. And like I said, I can go on and on and on with this sound clip. I could play another 30, 40 minutes of this sound clip. But I think the American people heard it. I think they heard enough of it to understand where it was going. That this system, okay, that was portrayed in this American election, okay, was the same system that was used in Venezuela. Wow. I wonder how much the far left paid off Venezuela to have it shipped over to America. Oh boy. Hey guys, here's a catch-22. Maybe that's why Biden and the Biden campaign raised all those millions of dollars, right? They had to pay the freight, they had to pay the freight bill, right? They had to pay the freight bill to have the damn machines shipped over to the American shores back in what was it, August, September? Oh, you could read that on the Drudge Report. They'll tell you all the fraud that was being involved. Yeah. Yeah, well, will you hear that on Fox News? Will you hear that on CNN? No, you won't hear that on CNN. They won't tell you the truth. Maybe that's why. And I'm not saying they could or they couldn't, but you could put one and one together, okay? And you could understand probably why that campaign raised millions and millions of dollars. I mean, Trump could basically raise triple that amount in a campaign. I mean, he could buy out Wall Street any day of the week if he wanted to. It's true. It's true. Not because of his name Trump, but I mean, it's clearly possible. But did he have to? Did he have to outspend Biden in this campaign? No. He did the same scenario back in 2016 when he ran against Hillary. Hey, remember Hillary when she was getting all handsy dancy across the dinner room table and the Facebook and the Twitter and the Instagram and all the the Pony Express and all the social media outlets out there when she was getting all dancy with Bill. Had to put a smile on Bill's face because, Bill's like Biden. He doesn't know where the hell he's at half the time. Oh, yeah. But, it's okay. It's okay. This is democracy at its best, folks. This is what we have to deal with. We have to deal with all these idiots and nimrods in office. But that's okay. That's okay. Did you see? Oh, boy. Here's another one. Did you see the latest Drudge Report of what's going on here today? I'm going to read off here a couple segments here on the Drudge Report. The Drudge Report. Oh boy. Oh God. You got to hear this. The Drudge Report now is calling for massive fraud in the election. Rewind 3 weeks ago, even a month ago, prior to the election, that they were in favor of Biden. It's a fair election, folks. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Right? Don't worry about it. Like the old 80s and 70s mobster, what they say, don't worry about it, huh? Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah. We're going to get the mobster there, Cuomo there, the dictator Cuomo. Let's see what he says. Is he going to close down more restaurants? Is he going to keep people in captivity like the zoo? Yeah, we're going to keep people in their homes like it's a zoo. Yeah. This is the craziness that we live in. This is the craziness, folks, that we live in this world. Yeah, we live in a crazy world. But what can you do? What can you do? Just got to take your marbles, roll them as best as you can, and hope for a better future, right? What can you do? But it is what it is, I guess, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. I want to pull up this latest here on the Drudge Report. Okay. This is on the front of the Drudge Report. Did anybody see that? The Drudge Report here? I don't know if anybody follows the Drudge Report. The Drudge Report is a very, very good source of information. A lot of us use it, and a lot of us rely on the Drudge Report for positive, mainly political sources here. Okay, and this is actually what's going down for the president. Okay, and this is a president. Okay, that basically portrays a lot of presidents before him, mainly presidents, in the early 1900s, 1800s, okay? Trump is, like I said, Trump is not a modern politician. Trump, you look at Trump is like really like a president that, that speaks for the American people, like the original presidents used to do. Founders didn't prepare for a president who refuses to step down, historians say. Detroit asked judge to sanction the Trump campaign for spreading disinformation. Outraged in the black community over claims of voter fraud. Okay? Who needs Russia? The loudest attacks on America are from Donald Trump, who fails, to leverage power of office to subvert Biden win. A vindictive man seeks to undermine the criminal probes. Legal dangers await after the White House. Well, what does that mean, folks? What does that mean? Oh, they're going back to the Russia scenario? Are they trying to say that Russia had been influencing this election? Are they trying to say that, oh, yeah, Trump's buddy Putin, tried to keep Trump in office? What the hell is wrong with having good, healthy relationships with foreign leaders? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let me ask you a question. Since Trump has taken office, have we seen any type of foreign conflicts or foreign wars under his administration of presidency? No, we haven't. Because this is a president that is not in favor of war or bloodshed. I mean, the average American would probably agree. Right? Let's focus on America. Let's focus on cleaning up the corruption in our American soil. Let's focus on cleaning up the corruption in Washington. Let's focus on putting America first for once, right? I mean, I don't know. I'd rather help people in this country first before I'd help people in overseas. But, But see, that's the sickness we live in this world. We live in sickness in this world where you have reporters telling the American people that the president skips the G20 pandemic preparation meeting to go golfing. Oh yeah, they talk about that. Oh yeah, like what the hell is that going to solve, guys? Like where is the biased media? Like where do they get off on this? I mean, folks, this is terrible. Living through some crazy times. I'm reading a story here that Junior was affected. Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. affected. Oh boy. And then big tech now is blaming him for attending super spreader events. That's why Donald Trump got infected by the disease, because he attended a super spreader event. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I mean, do you really want to understand this article? Does anybody want to understand and just read their madness? Just read everything that goes on. So if anybody knew, or heard the latest here, Don Jr., the president's son, has tested positive for coronavirus. He escaped the virus when people around him got infected, but including his girlfriend, Kimberly, but now has it per multiple sources. So now he's been told that he has to quarantine at a private location. A private location? Oh, okay. Okay, this is... Another news, certain elected officials now are now recommending people to certain families. If you have your regular family, you're allowed to attend Thanksgiving dinners this Thanksgiving, okay? But you shouldn't allow outside families, such as extended families, to be included in the Thanksgiving festivities. What? We got to put a lockdown on Thanksgiving now? Boy, guys. Where the hell is this world going to? Yeah. Thanksgiving fears. Yeah. Everybody's fearing Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the next source of super spreader events. U.S. health officials brace for further increases in COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations and deaths, capping a week in which the spread of the novel coronavirus will have a big toll on this week's Thanksgiving holiday. They're now telling people, this is the CDC, folks. They're now telling people to avoid big Thanksgiving gatherings, okay? Because it might bring a big turnout to hospitals, okay? This is going back to the early 30-day curve, right? We all found out what they meant by the 30-day curve. They weren't really talking about breaking down the curve or stopping the spread of the disease. They just didn't want the hospitals being overwhelmed by people coming in, being affected by the disease. The CDC also says that the 7-day rolling average of the new COVID-19 cases reached more than 165,000. Okay, they're gonna expect it to roll up to 165,000 or more of COVID cases this Thursday on Thanksgiving. Are you kidding me? The White House Coronavirus Task Force Coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, said that the virus is spreading at a high rate across more than half of the country and that Thanksgiving gatherings should be limited to immediate family members rather than a maximum number of people. So let's take, for instance, okay? If you have an average family of 4 or 6 or whatever you have in your household, okay, you're supposed to spend the Thanksgiving holiday with just your family members in that household. But but expect to tell your great aunt or your uncle or your maybe your friend that you haven't seen in about 10 or 20 years that they can't come over because it's a high possibility of a high spread of COVID-19. Yeah. That's your boy. I tell you, this is boy. I mean, sometimes I have to look at some of these articles and I have to scratch my head like, are they serious about this? But here's the drum line. Here's the doozer-roozy here. Pfizer and German partner BioNTech SE this week reported that the final trial results that showed the vaccine was 95% effective in preventing COVID-19 with no major safety concerns. Yeah, no major safety concerns. There's no major safety concerns, folks. It's 95% effective, but there's no major safety concerns. We should have this shortly after Thanksgiving, they said. Oh, boy. The liberal guy here, liberal nut job, Gavin Newsom here. Everybody knows who Gavin Newsom is, right? This is now coming from Gavin Newsom that the virus is spreading at a pace we haven't seen since the start of the pandemic, and the next several days and weeks will be critical to stop the surge, said in a statement announcing the measure a week before the Thanksgiving holiday. So is the governor of California, folks, is he gonna close down the state because is he concerned about his Californians, or is he more concerned about his political stance? At this point, we don't know. We don't know. Normalcy in this country, folks, will never return. I don't think it will return for a long, long time. I think this is the new normalcy. I think they're going to have muzzles on people's face like German shepherds for the next probably 10 or 15 years. You know, the only ones that are going to be really, really affected by this is our youth. Can you imagine? I mean, I was just having a talk with a friend of mine not too long ago. Can you imagine with this COVID era, what it's doing to our youth? It's destroying the next youth. I was just talking to a friend like last week about this, you know, and his little girl. I mean, he doesn't know what to say to his daughter. I mean, the youth are going to be scarred from these mask mandates for probably their whole lives. They don't understand. You could try to explain this as best as you can to a child at any age today. They don't understand. They don't understand why they have to wear masks. Because, folks, their mindset doesn't work the same as an adult. They don't. They don't work the same as an adult. You could tell them, you know, you could tell a child why they have to wear a mask, like how the CDC recommends us wear a mask. But they don't understand that. They don't understand science. They don't understand health. They don't understand medicine. They're too young. They don't have the mindset. They don't have the ability to contrast the information. I'm telling you, it's gonna damage our next youth. You know, their emotions are severely damaged after this. They're not gonna have any influence on themselves. They're not gonna have any motivation. You know, when they get older and everything, and they're going through, you know, through school and high school and college, they're not gonna have any motivation, even when they get their first good job. You know, they're gonna be so depressed. That's why you see, talking about depressed, that's why you see the all-time suicide rates today. They're all all-time high. There's people dropping dead every day because they're depressed about this thing. You know, there's people that have good pay, that they had good paying jobs. Now they're unemployed. They're unemployed. They're losing the jobs. They can't put food on the table. They can't do this. They can't do that. But then you have all these nitwit, corrupted politicians that are blaming one person and one person only. Donald Trump. Yeah, they blame him because they're saying that he should have acted quicker with the whole coronavirus. He was told weeks upon weeks before March of this year of 2020 that he could have acted quicker. He could have stopped the spread of coronavirus, and we wouldn't even have it in our country today. He did stop it, guys. I mean, did he not? Did he not put a ban? I mean, he heard all his top advisors, his senior advisors in his administration. He did put a ban. He put a ban on China. That's where it came from. It came from China. Christ, all we know, it came from some kind of cave or a bat or something. First we heard it was a bat. Then we heard it was what was it? It was some kind of other crazy scenario. It came from a lab. It did. Who the hell knows what it came? It could have been aliens from outer space or something, and somebody could have basically just did something behind closed doors. Who the hell knows where it came from? But I'm telling you right now, the dark winter is upon us, folks. The dark winter is upon us. And if we can't grasp the new normalcy in this country, we won't have a country. If we can't grasp civilization for what we know it today, you won't have a republic in this country. With that being said, folks, thank you very much for joining into today's podcast. And as always, we'll see you on the next one. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Anchor platform.